My fiancée suddenly said at the dinner party. If your dad were single, I'd marry him because he's successful. This was shocking for me. I said nothing, but told my dad everything that he calmly shared his plan. Next week, Dad hosted a dinner party and handed her a list. What he said with it was enough to set her mind straight. Dear friends, I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers. Please support me by subscribing to my channel. Every single sub counts and means a lot. Thank you. I'm 31, been with Lila for 3 years, engaged for 8 months. I work in IT consulting. Nothing flashy, but I make decent money. My dad, Richard, is 58, widowed for 6 years after my mom passed from cancer. He's a commercial real estate developer, owns properties across the state, and yeah, he's done well for himself. He's also one of the most principled men I know. My mom's death changed him, made him quieter, more selective about who he lets into his life. Lila knew all this. She'd met Dad dozens of times, always sweet to him, always playing the perfect future daughter-in-law role. I thought she genuinely liked him. Turns out, she liked his bank account more. It happened 3 weeks ago. Dad invited us over for dinner. Nothing fancy, just his way of staying connected since Mom died. He'd made pot roast, her old recipe, and we were sitting in his dining room that overlooks the city. Lila had been weird all evening, touchy-feely with me, but her eyes kept drifting to Dad's watch, his car keys on the counter, the artwork on the walls. Then, out of nowhere, while Dad was refilling her wine glass, she laughed and said it. You know, Richard, if you were single and I wasn't with your son, I'd totally marry you. You're so successful and put together. It's really attractive. The room went silent. Dad's hand froze mid-pour. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. She said it with this playful tone, like it was a compliment, like she hadn't just told my father she'd replace me with him if circumstances allowed. Dad recovered first. He set the bottle down, smiled tightly, and said, "That's quite a statement, Lila. I think I'll take that as a compliment to my late wife's taste in teaching me manners." He redirected the conversation immediately, asked about my current project at work. But I saw it in his eyes. He was filing this away, analyzing it the way he analyzes bad business deals. Lila didn't seem to realize what she'd done. She kept chatting, kept laughing, kept touching my arm like everything was normal. I couldn't eat another bite. We left an hour later. In the car, I asked her what that comment was about. "What comment?" she said, scrolling through Instagram. "The one about marrying Dad if you could." She rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, it was a joke. You're so sensitive." I was complimenting him. "Don't you want your fiancé and your dad to get along?" I didn't push it, but I couldn't sleep that night. Something about the way she said it, the look in her eyes when she watched him move around his house like she was appraising property, it sat wrong in my gut. The next morning, I called Dad. We met for coffee at his office building. I told him everything, not just the comment, but the feeling behind it, the way she'd been asking more questions about his business lately, about his properties, about his estate planning. Things I'd brushed off before suddenly formed a pattern. Dad listened without interrupting. When I finished, he leaned back and said, "I thought something was off. She asked me last month if I had a will. Said she was just curious about how these things work for successful people." My blood went cold. I didn't think much of it then, Dad continued, but combined with last night. "Son, I think we need to test something. Give me a week. Trust me on this." I trusted him. Update 1. Dad called me 6 days later. "Dinner at my place this Friday. Bring Lila. Dress nice. I'm inviting a few business associates too." When I told Lila, her eyes lit up. "Oh, fancy. Is this like a networking thing? Should I wear my black dress, the expensive one?" Red flag number 37, but I just nodded. Friday came. Dad's house was set up beautifully, catered food, a bartender, about 10 people mingling. His attorney was there, his business partner, a couple of longtime friends. Lila worked the room like she was auditioning for a role, laughing too loud, touching everyone's arms, making sure people knew she was my fiancée, soon to be part of the family. Halfway through the evening, Dad clinked his glass. Everyone quieted down. "I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. As many of you know, since my wife passed, I've been thinking a lot about legacy, about what I leave behind." He paused, looked directly at Lila. "I've also been thinking about the people who come into our lives, and what their true intentions are." Lila smiled, oblivious. Dad reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. "Lila, I've been observing you for a while now. You've asked me about my properties, my investments, my will, my success. You've made comments about what you'd do if circumstances were different. So I had my attorney draw something up. I think you'll find it interesting. He handed her the paper. She unfolded it, confused. I couldn't see what it said, but I watched her face drain of color as she read. This is a prenuptial agreement, Dad said calmly, that I'm requiring you to sign before you marry my son. It specifies that in the event of divorce, you receive nothing from any assets connected to me or my estate, which includes the trust fund I established for my son last year. The one he doesn't know about yet, because I wanted to see who he'd choose to marry first. The room was dead silent. Lila's hands were shaking. There's also a clause, Dad continued, that if you're found to have married him with primary intent to access family wealth, the entire agreement becomes void and you're excluded from all family functions and financial considerations permanently. This would require signing an affidavit about your intentions. My attorney is here as a witness. Lila's mouth opened and closed like a fish. This is insane. I love him, not your money. Then signing should be easy, Dad said. Unless, of course, your comment about marrying me because I'm successful was more truth than joke. Unless all those questions about my assets were more than casual curiosity. She looked at me, desperate. Baby, you can't let him do this. This is controlling. This is. Answer the question, Lila, I said quietly. My heart was pounding, but I needed to hear it. Why did you say that? Why have you been so interested in his money? Her eyes darted between me and Dad. I could see her calculating, trying to figure out which lie would work. Instead, she chose anger. You know what? Fuck this. She threw the paper on the floor. You want the truth? Fine. Yes, I thought marrying into this family would be an upgrade. You're nice enough, but your dad's the real catch here. Wealthy, established, property owner. I figured once we were married, I'd be set. Family money, connections, the whole thing. And yeah, maybe if things didn't work out with you, I'd have options. The room exploded in murmurs. Dad's business partner actually gasped. I felt numb. Options? You mean my dad? She shrugged, her mask completely gone now. He won't be alone forever. And I'm patient. But clearly, this family is too paranoid and controlling for me anyway. Good luck finding someone who'll put up with this setup. She grabbed her purse and stormed out. I heard the front door slam. I just stood there, staring at the prenup on the floor. Dad's attorney picked it up, folded it carefully. For what it's worth, she said to me, we see this more often than you'd think. Your father's instincts were correct. Update 2. The weekend after the dinner party was surreal. Lila texted me 47 times. I counted. The messages went from angry, you humiliated me, to manipulative, I didn't mean it, I was drunk, to desperate, please, we can work through this, I love you. I didn't respond to any of them. Dad and I met for breakfast on Sunday. He looked tired. I'm sorry I had to do it that way, he said. But I needed witnesses. I needed it documented. She could have walked away quietly if she'd just been gold digging. That's bad enough, but survivable. But the comment about me, about options. Son, she was planning something long-term and ugly. He slid another paper across the table. It was a background check. Apparently, after the first dinner, Dad had hired a private investigator, something he does routinely with business partners, and he decided to apply the same logic here. Lila had debt. A lot of it. Credit cards, personal loans, nearly 80 grand. She'd been living above her means for years, and her marketing job barely covered rent. 3 months before she met me, she'd attended a seminar about marrying wealthy, one of those gross gold digger strategy courses. The PI had found her notes from it. One item, highlighted, target men with wealthy, single parents. Dual opportunities. I felt sick. She researched you, Dad said quietly. She found out about me before your third date with her. This was planned from the beginning. I thought about every moment. Every I love you. Every time she'd talked about our future, our kids' names, the house we'd buy. All of it, scripted. The trust fund you mentioned, I said. Is that real? Dad nodded. I set it up after your mom died. 2 million. I was going to tell you on your wedding day, as a gift to help you start your married life. If you'd married Lila, she would have found out, and I guarantee she would have stuck around long enough to figure out how to access it in a divorce. $2 million. I'd never known. And Lila had been circling it like a shark sensing blood. Update 3. It's been 3 weeks now. Lila tried showing up at my apartment twice. The first time, I didn't answer the door. The second time, I told her through the chain lock that if she came back, I'd file for a restraining order. She called me a pathetic mama's boy and left. I found out from a mutual friend that she's been telling people I'm the villain in this story, that my dad is a controlling narcissist who sabotaged our relationship because he couldn't stand to see his son happy. Some people believe her. I've lost a couple of friends over it, people who think I should have stood up to my dad or given her a chance to explain. But here's the thing, she did explain, in front of 10 witnesses. And there's nothing to stand up for when the person you plan to marry admits they saw you as a stepping stone to your father's wallet. Dad's been great through all of this. We've gotten closer, actually. He told me last week that my mom would have seen through Lila in 10 minutes. Your mother had a radar for fake people, he said. I wish she was here to help you through this, but I think she'd be proud you walked away. I canceled the venue, sent back the ring, notified everyone on the guest list. Losing the deposits hurt, but Dad offered to cover them. I refused. I needed to close this chapter myself. Final update. It's been 2 months. I'm doing okay. Not great, but okay. Some days I'm angry. Some days I just feel stupid for not seeing it sooner. Therapy is helping. Dad and I have dinner every week now, just the two of us. He started dating again. Actually, a woman his age, a retired teacher who volunteers at the animal shelter. She's kind, asks about me without prying, and doesn't own a single designer handbag. Dad seems lighter around her. As for Lila, I heard through the grapevine that she moved to another city. Apparently, she met someone new, another guy with family money. I almost feel bad for him. Almost. The trust fund is still sitting there. Dad says it's mine whenever I'm ready, no strings attached, but he also added a clause. Any future spouse has to sign an ironclad prenup. I didn't argue. I'm not rushing into anything new. I'm just focusing on rebuilding my sense of judgment, of trust. Maybe one day I'll meet someone who wants me for me, not for the inheritance I didn't even know existed. But if there's one thing I learned from all this, it's that my dad's instincts are sharper than mine. And sometimes the hardest truth is the one that saves you. Edit 1. A lot of people are asking if I ever suspected anything before the comment. Honestly, no. She was good at playing the part. The only thing that seemed slightly off was how much she wanted to be around Dad, but I thought she was just trying to bond with him since she lost her own father young. Guess that was part of the act too. Edit 2. For those wondering, yes, the PI report is something Dad let me keep. I've read it more times than I want to admit. There's a section about how she searched my name plus net worth and family wealth multiple times before our 4th date. That one still stings. Edit 3. Someone asked if I'd ever take her back if she apologized. Absolutely not. Some betrayals don't get second chances. This is one of them.